Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen around the world, wherever you are. Welcome to Magic the Gathering, where today we are drafting Zendikar Rising, Blast from the Past. Back to Zendikar. So, what have we got in this pack? Well, the rare is a magmatic channeler. This card is fine. It's not broken. It's okay. It will sometimes be a 2-mana 4/4. Never on turn 2, but it can discard excess lands, a few spells that have synergy with being in the graveyard, and in return you get to make sure that you never run out of gas. It's fine, nothing to go crazy about when you can't build around it. In limited, it's kind of hard to build around this card. It's completely fine. You'll play this in any red deck that you play. It's flood insurance, it's fantastic, and it might be 4/4 later on, which is always relevant. But I don't believe that it compares to Mage's Familiar. All of these lands, by the way, are completely fine. Lands that double time with spells are exceedingly powerful because they can either make sure you don't get, because you can run a bunch of these in your deck, and then because you have so many lands, you can make sure that you never get screwed on mana, but because you have so many spells, you can make sure that you always have things to do. So for that functionality, of course, you're paying a little bit more than you should want to for an effect like this. I guess 3 mana to not affect the board, so this is not really a 3-drop, but later on when you don't really need a land, this might get back your best card. That in limited is very powerful. So I mean, all of this is just like by the by. There's only one pick here, and that is Mage's Familiar. This card, it's really good. We're gonna take it. Mana acceleration to big stuff is blue-green's thing. And then the fact that you can use this to pay for all of the kicker spells and that gains life, it's too much. Does too much. Charges, fine, but you're not really looking to play these in limited unless you're a very dedicated red-white aggressive equipment deck. Which we really don't want to prize ourselves into a strategy like that. Second pick, like Fireblade Charger is a fine card in the archetype that you want to play it in. It's not really the card that makes you want to go into that archetype. Kabira Takedown is honestly probably one of the best card in this pack, raw power level. Maddening Cacophony is pretty funny. It's like if you build a dedicated mill deck, which you can do. There is Ruin Crab in Zendikar. If you pick a bunch of Ruin Crabs and Maddening Cacophonies, you can absolutely mill people out with all the landfall triggers that you can get. But we're gonna stay the course here. Got a good blue-green card. Gonna take this Gnarled Colony to follow up. Gnarled Colony is excellent because it doesn't just make itself better, it makes all your creatures with +1/+1 counters better. It's a fantastic way to, it's a fantastic thing to carve into a Mage's Familiar because you can go Familiar, then next turn land drop, Gnarled Colony. That's very, very good. We're going to take this. Nahiri's Binding is obviously great. It is an enchantment removal. Enchantment removals are generally very good in limited because they're removal, but also they are not the best removal in limited because they can be countered, right? You can bounce your critters, you can sacrifice them, you can do all sorts of things to negate enchantment. So we're going to go with the Gnarled Colony and be very, very happy. So be aware of what we've passed. Plus to Balagad Recovery, a couple of good white cards. Let's just early on, we don't have to think about all of that too much. We can just take the good cards, and there are some in this pack. These cards that I've just highlighted are all fine, right? Binding, again, good for the same reasons discussed earlier. We already passed a couple of good white cards though, so it's pretty awkward taking one of these third pick. Now, unfortunately, we don't really have an excellent blue-green card. Because Risen Riptide is completely fine, and if you can cast kicked spells with any degree of regularity, then Risen Riptide is actually fairly broken, because then you just have a 3-mana 5/5. That's insane. But you can't always guarantee that you'll do that, and almost no other deck in the format wants this. Like, you're not going to put this randomly in a blue deck. Only the dedicated kicker deck wants it. So 2-mana 2/2 Death Touch is fine. Vanquish the Weak is obviously good. Instant speed removal for the little guys. What we are going to do though is take this Relic Amulet is what we're going to do. Card is busted, right? Like, we could switch into red. We could like hedge our bets. But see, this is a colorless card that can go into any deck. And I know we don't have any wizards right now, but wizards are very common in this format, especially in blue. There's a lot of wizards in blue and red, but like blue is the wizard color. It always has been. So if you're blue, you're likely to pick up a whole bunch of wizards, and what that'll allow you to do is it'll let you make it so that, like, just by playing out your spells, you're getting to make removal spells happen, right? Like, this is recurring removal for several different creatures. You can use this to finish off bigger creatures after a trade. You can use this to just ping off little guys, or you can stack this up to blow up a big thing. It's a lot for 2 mana. Like, it's a very good card. We are 100% going to take it here. And then, the card is fine, by the way. I know a lot of people have hated on this card. I'm not going to hate on this card. I think this card is actually quite alright. 2 mana, 1/3. It's very defensive, and with all the landfall, you can definitely do a lot with the life gain. But unless you have life gain synergies, which there are a few, like there are cards that say, for example, whenever you gain a life, opponent lose a life. In black, there's the Marauding Blight Priest, I believe it's called. So it's a pretty easy combo with that. It's like, it's a fine card, nothing to get excited about. I'm just defending it because people hate on it so much. In our colors, we have Living Tempest, Flash, Flying, 5 mana, 3/3, fine, good filler. It's nothing I'm embarrassed to put in my deck. Same with this. 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch will always be good. So Rogue, which is very relevant creature type in this format. We also have a Giant Cleric. Cleric is a good card type to have in this format. There's not really any ultra powerful card. All of these cards are similar in power level. This is fine. It's like essentially a 5 mana 4/4 with Reach and Haste, right? Because you have 4. If you cast this on 4, it doesn't do anything, but if you cast this on 5, your land becomes 4/4 with Reach and Haste, which is alright. The 5 mana 4/4 Reach Haste is, yeah, sure, it's whatever. It'll set you back a land when your land dies, which is not ideal, but you know, it's fine. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and take this big dumb 5/4. So 5/4 against 3 inputs. Oh my god. This is a 5th pick Soaring Thought. Would be passing, well, if we picked it, we're giving up Might of Murasa, which is fine, not something I'm terribly sad about. Field Research, which is great. Divination that can draw 3 in the late game in a kicker deck? Sign me up. This card is excellent, right? So, in your traditionally in draft, this you'll be able to activate this ability for 3 or like 4 to 3 mana, because this by itself is a rogue. So it's a party member. So you're, even if just he's on the board, you're activating this for 4, not 5. And then we have a cleric, and we'll probably pick up some wizards. So generally speaking, you'll be activating this ability for 3. So a 3 mana 2/3 that can be turned into 3/3 unblockable and pumped multiple times is nothing to sneer at. And then Field Research is just actively so good. Part of the reason the blue-green deck is so good is these spells make sure you never run out of gas. Come too far. Forget about the... Oh my god. If we pick the first Relic Amulet, we're going to pick the second Relic Amulet. We're going to take it. It's just like stupid wizards and instants and sources. It does make me happy I took the Field Research, I'll tell you that much. This card, by the way, don't sleep on it. Like, it does a lot more work than you might expect something like this to do, because if you play out the spell lands, right, let's say you have Makindi Stampede, you played it as the Makindi Misas. Kazandu Stompa, right, it's up to 2 lands, so you can decide not to pick up any if you want the mana, or you can decide to pick up 1 land, say your Makindi Misas, and then you can play the spell. And also you can trigger landfall if you just pick up regular lands. Card is absolutely fantastic. Going to be taking that. Very good kicker card. Well, I mean, not very, very good, but it's like a fine kicker card. 3 mana, 2/3 flying defender. It'll keep you alive. It's not the greatest stats, but then eventually it'll become a 7 mana 4/5 flyer. Also, if you put a +1/+1 counter on it from any other source, it still takes off the effect. It doesn't. It's not only if it's kicked, right? So if you have any ways to put +1/+1 counters, which is really the black-green decks thing, then this is fantastic. But green has a few ways of doing this by itself. However, what we are going to do is we take the Salundi Vision. We're probably never ever like casting the Salundi Vision, but you never know. And you know, it's a land, it's a spell. You know how we feel about those. We're gonna take it. Worst case scenario, we'll use it to trigger a double relic amulet. Like, we are very highly incentivized to pick instants and sorceries and wizards now. Okay, well, this is about the time where I would take a Risen Riptide. I could take a Skeldahites, but you're almost never going to just be short on Skeldahites. Like, you're almost always going to be able to play Skeldahites, pick up a Skeldahites, and I'd rather have the first Risen Riptide than, like, if I had to only have one of these in my deck, I would have one Riptide and instead of one Skeldahites, because I have 2 kicker cards, and this deck really just wants to be alive until it can hit its stupid late game. 2 mana 3/1 is fine. 2 mana 2/2 Vigilance, Lifelink is fine. And there are definitely signals that we could have gone with. Okay, this is not really the best wizard. It's like, it's a 4 mana 3/3 that will scry 1 by itself, and if you have more things going on, it'll scry for more. However, it is a wizard, and I don't believe we have any of those yet in our double relic amulet deck. What we could do is we could also say, I'm not going to take this bad wizard. I'm instead going to take this Chilling Trap, which counts on me getting more wizards. So do I take a bad wizard or a decent card that counts on me getting better wizards later on? With double relic amulet, it's close. I mean, could also just take a Broken Wings, but this isn't really a format where people are going ham on artifacts or enchantments, so this is less valuable than the Neon Dynasty. Where Fade into Antiquity would be absolute bomb. I think let's take the Cascades here. The first Cascades here holds more value than the first Chilling Trap, in my opinion. Okay, well, I'm not sure that we're playing a second Risen Riptide, but we'll put it in the deck for now. Who knows? Nectar Pod is fine. We already have a couple of big idiots. Oh, good choice. Oh, we get a Chilling Trap anyway. Okay. Whoa, what a wizard we got. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this card. It is so good. I can play it as a land. If I need land drops, I can play it as Acceleration on turn 2. This is fantastic. Master of Winds is busted. It draws 2, discards 1, so you get to loot away a bad card, so you're up a card. This essentially replaces itself, but you get to draw 2, so if you throw away a spell that you don't, or a land you don't care about, then it's essentially like you're up 2 cards. It's so good. And then it's a wizard, and then you can trigger it at instant speed. It's busted. Deadly Alliance, Tajur Blightblade, Field Research, Tangle Floorhedron, all cards that we'd like to have. We've really passed a lot of white. We can't really go into white anymore. We've passed all of that. It's like, you know, I'm completely happy with that pick. Okay, so this card is okay in a slow shell because it replaces itself. It's an instant. Goes well with our Master of Winds tempo plan with the double relic amulet. But we're just going to take a Ball and Recovery here. Like, I don't think it's particularly close. Spell lands, very good. It's a relevant spell. It'll trigger a Master of Winds. It'll trigger the double relic amulet, or it'll just be a land. Well, we can, you know, it's very. Oh my God! This is a good pick. We've got this thing. This goes very well. This is just a great card. Just gets stronger by itself as the game goes on. Very good interaction. Probably what we should take in this pack. Kicker, interaction, instant sorcery. But then there's this guy. Don't do it. Don't do it. Discipline. Discipline, Douglas. Discipline. We have no fixing. Otherwise, I'd go for that in a heartbeat. I forgive me, everybody who I just gave a massive heart attack to. Okay. Don't think about that too hard. We just passed it on math. Okay, this pack is great for us. I'll happily take this because in even a 2-color deck, this is going to be a 5-mana 4/5. Nothing wrong with that. If you can ever cast this for 3 colors. It's a 5 mana 5/6, which is excellent. We already have a field research, so not super interested in grabbing another one. We can if we need to. Canopy Bailiff, fantastic for the same reason as Scythe Cat is fantastic. Just beat them up. I don't really have to explain why this card is amazing though. And then given that we just picked up an Into the Royal, which is this effect, it's like it's 6 mana otherwise to do this. I'm gonna go with this. A 3/2 that replaces itself is just so much value, and I am so happy that we did that. As much as I would like to get this Bane Veil, it's a combat trick that you can play as a land, which is very good. I'm just gonna grab the Geyser Mage over the 3rd Relic Amulet. How many Relic Amulets is 2 any Relic Amulets? How many wizards do we have? Got 3 wizards. Okay. Better to take the cards that'll trigger the 2 I already have instead of taking a 3rd one. Rabbit Bite is absolutely insane and I would love to have it, but then there's also this Vine Gecko, and this card is broken. Absolutely busted, especially in a kicker deck. We can take out one of these now. Okay, now we've got Turn Timber Aesthetic again, which we can definitely grab. Field Research, which is still fine, and then this thing. But we don't really have terribly many ways to put +1/+1 counters on our guys. This one really rewards you for having engines, like things that will each turn trigger. Don't really have that right now. So, second Field Research or second Timber Aesthetic? What's our curve looking like? We've got pretty decent curve. We can afford a bigger guy at this stage, I think. We've got the Master of Winds to draw cards as well. I don't think we'll be running short on cards anytime soon. I'll just take the big guy. And then grab a Scaled Heights, maybe? Or a Skycliff Sentinel. I think at this stage I'm actually happy picking up a Skycliff Sentinel. This is about the place where I'm okay to pick one of these. It's close, like I wouldn't mind some of the other cards. This is a fine red card. This is just specifically for like hyper party decks, but I think we are actually happy with the Blight Blade here. This is fine. I'll happily play the Dauntless Survivor. Like 1 copy is almost always fine. Like what? How does that wield? I'm very happy that it did. What? Okay, well, I don't expect the Relic Amulet to wield, but pretty happy with the wheels that I did get. At this stage, I'm still hoping not to play this Cascades here, but we'll see. Jewelry Disruption is fine, yeah. If you have too many lands in your hand, this is an amazing disruptive spell. It really messes with your opponent's curve. Can't really pick this at this stage, unfortunately. Card's great. This is also very good. There is a very good green-white aggro deck in the format, as you can clearly see. Cards like Canny and Jerboa, Fearless Fledgling, we passed the Canopy Bailiff, and then this Territorial Stomper. These cards are all very good. So, if we were doing green-white, we could have definitely picked this. And so whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, you gain each much life. But then if you have 15 more life, so if you have dedicated life gain, you just like a free way to win the game. Just makes it so hard for you to not lose. But it's okay. We'll just take the Jewelry Disruption. We could also take Reclaim the Wastes, but I think I'm gonna value the Disruption over the Reclaim here. Card's very good. Like, it's a 3 mana 2/2 flyer. It's a wizard. Wizard, huh? And then also it lets you loot away your bad cards. Can't really go wrong with that. Skyclave Plunder is fine. It's like a 5 mana draw 3, and I'm not unhappy to take it. But so, ooh, a second Vine Gecko. Count me in. Yeah, sure, whatever. Oh no, is that actually whatever? How many rogues do we have? We do have only 1 rogue. So, and the reason I say whatever is because it's like a Vine Gecko. So, sign me up. Whoever is playing rogues is gonna be very happy they got that one. Okay. We do get the Royal Mage, which I do like more than the Reclaim the Waste. It's a kicker spell. For the Risen Riptide with double Vine Gecko, I'm very happy picking up all the kickers you're going to give me at this stage. Cunning Geyser Mage, sign me up. I'm happy. Bane Veil. Sure. Give me all these lands you want. Murasa Brute, 3 mana 3/3. Absolutely nothing wrong with putting him in your deck, but this format in particular, a 3 mana 3/3 just doesn't cut it. There's just so much you can do. Okay, well, this Roiling Regrowth is fairly nuts. It's an instant for relic amulets, but like also it just ramps you, and it triggers all of our instant and sorcery stuff. No, this is fantastic. We can definitely take this Cascade Sphere out of there. We probably don't need this Dauntless Survivor, is my guess. Probably don't need this Kazandu Nectopot. What's our curve looking like now? Not terrible. Not the best, but still not terrible. Skyclave Squid. 2 mana, 3/2. I accept. Might not even play it, but I'll take it. Adventurer awaits, Resolute Strike, none of this really matters. We'll grab a Strength of Solidarity because we don't have one of those yet, and we'll grab another Strength of Solidarity because we don't have one, because we just picked one. Tajuru's Snarecaster is fine, nothing terribly exciting. We're not really looking to wheel anything here. Everything that we were going to pick has been picked. Tech is really nice. It's lacking a little in power level. Like, it doesn't have a Verazol, it doesn't have a big bomb rare that'll come down and end the game, but it's extremely consistent. Like, we've got a few big dumb idiots. Got creatures that are value by themselves, give us good card draw. Got some very good interaction. We've got a couple of engines in the form of relic amulets that get much better just for us playing our guys. Like, we have 6 wizards and 4 instants and sorceries. It's 10 ways to trigger the relic amulets. I don't know that we need the Skyclave Sentinels at this stage. We don't really have ways to put counters on it other than just kicking it, and we have enough other expensive kicker cards. Like, we've got this guy that's kicker, we've got this guy that's kicker, right? Yeah, so at this stage, I don't really think we need the Skyclave Sentinel, and we do have ways of dealing with flyers. Like, we've got flyers of our own. We've got Into the Royal, Cunning Guys and Mages to bounce them, Relic Amulets, Chilling Trap to slow them down. So I think this is fine. And also Chilling Trap is absolutely fantastic in this list, because if you control a wizard, you draw cards. So this is a combat trait that draws you a card. So much value. Like, either you can just negate an attack in the simple case. In the complex case, where you use this to win combat, oh, this is so powerful because you just up a card. Okay, so Balagad Recovery, Bane Veil, Shwari Disruption. So Bane Veil, Shwari Disruption, Balagad Recovery. Probably want to play 18 lands, given that these are essentially lands. So 1, 2, and then, sorry, this is too many, right? The 13, 16, and 3. Wait, what? No, 13 and 3, 16. So probably want to go up a couple of these. And that's fine, but it does put us back to 41 cards. So we've got to make one more cut. Worst card in the deck. Where are you? I mean, this will always be a 5 mana 4/5. So I don't think we actually need him here. Cool, that'll do it. I mean, we don't really have a compelling reason to, like, we don't really have any party stuff going on. We don't, so the cleric is significantly less relevant than the wizard type because of the relic amulet, and we don't, like the Roiling Regrowth, we don't really need to put in a land that's off color just so we can sometimes make this 1 power and toughness bigger. So this seems pretty decent. We've got 16 creatures, we've got some engines, we've got a lot of value if we pile this consistently. UG kicker, solid stuff, nothing terrible. And we have a very questionable hand to start off with, but it's one that I think I'm going to keep. I have a turn to Knowledge Colony or a turn to Relic Amulet, depending on what my opponent does, and then I potentially even have the Bane Veil to let my Knowledge Colony win combat if it comes to that. But we should be alright. Like, Bane Veil, by the way, in like a really truly late game, can be pretty nuts because the opponent sets up all these blocks and then you just like completely blow him out by making everything he has plus power. This isn't like target creatures, it's creatures your opponent controls. So in combat, in a complex combat setup, this thing is very powerful. Hopefully opponent doesn't blow up our Relic Amulet. Although, if he does, joke's on him, because we have no good way of getting value out of our amulet right now, but he doesn't know that. Ooh, I don't like that. Oh my god. Well, that worked out great. The actual perfect draw, because now we can just pass, get hit by this stupid squid, and then roiling regrowth away a land, get a monomystic, sure, whatever. We'll roiling regrowth away this forest and grab a pair of forests because we have a couple of funds. And so the fact that it gets those out of the deck is also so good. And now we can, oh, actually, this is probably better than kicking the knowledge colonies in it. It doesn't matter for relic amulet purposes. It's just like, there we go, we're on the play. And now we have a turn 4, 5-4 into opponent's 3-2. Well, I mean, this isn't really a 1-3. This card is very good in limited if you can trigger it every turn, because then it's a consistently a 3 mana 3/3 flying, and that's just so above rate. Opponent probably has something that messes with this, but if it's just an Into the Royal, then we are completely happy to play this again. He doesn't have Defender, does he? No, he doesn't. Yes, because an opponent did cast a spell. Okay, if we draw a wizard here, that would be an amazing draw. Bane Veil by itself also lets a Relic Amulet kill his squid, so that's pretty good. Okay. The Bug Crusher is not doing much at this stage, that's fair. And he draws 2. He gets to hit us for 3. Does he have another instant sorcery? He does not. The second squid. Okay. Okay. Oh. Well, that's disgusting. Because... Okay, so let's play out our land. Then attack. Okay. Smack. And then if he double blocks, Bane Veil will destroy him. Doesn't take the risk. Okay. That's fine. 5-4? 6-5. We don't really need to pick up lands. We don't have landfall triggers. Yeah, going Roiling Regrowth into 5-drop, 6-drop, both this fat, that'll do some work. Especially against red, whose only real way of dealing with things is by dealing direct damage, and it's really hard to deal like 5 damage when you're stuck on mana. But I mean, Into the Royal against the Kazandu Stomper is actually pretty effective, but against the Turn Timber aesthetic, not so much. I mean, if opponent goes this, doesn't think we're Stomper, we are taking, with an instant sorcery, we're taking a lot of damage. 9, it's not negligible. But then we'll still have like Gnarled Colony into Bane Veil next time. Yeah, okay, he did have the Into the Royal. We're racing. We are racing. Okay, so now this lets us, so we can actually use the Relic Amulet to fire this off, but what we'll do is we'll kick the Gnarled Colony, right? And what opponent doesn't know, like, I'm not gonna hold this back because the risk of them having interaction and then me just not being able to do anything is too high. And this way I get to save it in pressure. What opponent doesn't know is about this Bane Veil. And if he tries to go for an all-out attack, oh boy, he's going to be so disappointed. If he tries to just go for the throat here and I just Bane Veil away most of his damage, like I have to assume he has at least 1 instant sorcery. So this, it was attacking for 1 then, 1/1/1, 3, I'm taking 3 damage thanks to Bane Veil. Also, there's almost guarantees that I can eat one of his critters. And then I can untap and shoot one of the squids, or if I draw a wizard, then I could potentially even shoot the Mystic. Bubble Snare with Kicker. Sure, not much I can do about that. So now the question is, do I just fire off the Veil? I think so. It negates so much damage. Yeah, I don't really want to put myself in one range. And it's like if you're thinking, oh my god, this is so bad, you're just saving some life. Well, I do get to use the Relic Amulet next turn and shoot a squid. So now I only take 2. Yeah, so this is good. Because also I drew the Kazandu Stomper. So that's good because that means I can now play my land. Yeah, I can now play my land and still shoot with the squid. So we'll attack. Uh, see if he blocks. I don't want to spend the Relic Amulet on the sneaking guy just yet, because he doesn't really have... Okay. He's taking it. The Mad Lad. Kazandu Stomper. Maybe he thinks he has the kill, and he might if he has a land. I mean, is there any real reason to? I suppose I have a Territorial Scythe Cat. So, I'll pick up the... I'll pick up the one land. Sure, why not? I'll pick up the one land. In case I draw exactly Scythe Cat next turn. Or is it Scythe Cat? Scythe Cat? I don't know. There's no point in him sneaking guiding his Umara Mystic because it can't block his Mystic anyway. If he has a land to activate the squids, I will 100% of the time shoot one of the squids. Ardent Electromancer. Am I just dead to this stupid Umara Mystic? I might be dead just to the Mystic. If he can cast 2 more... I'm just dead now. Because he's probably going to find a land, and then both squids can attack. And that's not great. Yeah, okay, see, so both squids can attack. So now I shoot one of the squids, and then I'm just dead on board, because I have to take 5. Maybe I should have left this back on defense, but I don't feel like I was going to win that game if I just leave this back on defense, because I'm getting hit with this flyer. So yeah, I think opponent is going to get there with the sneaking guide. The most sneaky of guides. We also did flood out a little. The Bane Veil was very good, but it did need us to have a little bit of a bigger board presence. Opponent has perfect information. They should know they have the... I'm just dead. Just kill me! Or I'll shoot your thing for good measure. Umara Mystic doing the business. We didn't find either for flyers. Like, if we have a Master of Winds, or if we just find a wizard to trigger so that we can kill the Umara Mystic, that game would have been completely fine. Unfortunately, we did not find a way to trigger our Relic Amulet. Double Cunning Geyser Mage. Either of the Geyser Mages would have been excellent in that spot. Bouncing the Umara Mystic, or bouncing a squid and killing the Mystic would have all been fantastic choices. So it's a little unlucky. Flooded out. I think we played that game about as well as we needed to. I don't recall having made any major blunders or made any lines of play that were actively terrible or not the best possible choice. So I'm fairly happy. This hand doesn't do anything. I'm going to keep it. If I draw blue, see, now I look like a genius. Because if I draw blue, this hand is amazing. Opponent's not doing anything, so I'm not going to do anything. I don't need to play this. I don't need to play this 2-1. If my opponent's not going to put me under any pressure. I have so much life gain in my hand. Although, next turn I will go, because I don't have a turn, what? Discard 2, huh? I'm happy to discard these 2, I think. Oh, you milled a Relic Amulet! You monster! How could you? It's okay. Hopefully we draw land, and hopefully he doesn't kill this. That's a lot of hoping. But you have flush, though. What'd you do that for? Oh no! Mill 2 lands! Still draw land. Best of all possible worlds. Got 2 lands out of our deck that we don't really want. Like, this deck just wants 6 mana, and then it's happy. Right? Like, once it hits the sweet 6 mana spot. Dreadworm. If we draw another land, this Dreadworm does nothing. Should have specified that I didn't want to tap land. Do I play this out without casting Kicker? I don't think so. The kicker is very valuable. So I'm not going to get greedy for the value. This is fine. If he decides to trade, I'll just use this as a combat trick and trade. It's completely fine by me. Card's plenty powerful. And see, now I'm going to cast this Jwari Ruins. And now what this means is now whatever his play is, I can just Cunning Geyser Mage his big thing, turn this into a 5/5. Highborn Vampire's not going to do anything. If this is your best play this turn, you are in trouble. Because now I can just Cunning Geyser Mage back that thing, set him back to the Stone Age, and then, well, got Knowledge Colony for the follow-up as well. And this also gains me life, and turns, yeah, so I get to hit him for 10, put his guy back, grow my board, yada yada yada. I think the only Wrath I remember in this format is Shadow's Verdict, which does get me pretty good, but it still does leave me with a 5/4, so I'm not terribly unhappy about that. Because if he spends his turn casting Shadow's Verdict, I do put him down fairly low, and then I still have a decent follow-up, but I'm obviously hoping he doesn't wrap the board here. Okay, well, that's not going to do anything. Well, no, it's a 4-mana critter and a 3-mana critter. Yeah, you're gonna... Oh my god! This is only for kick spells, so wizards don't do it. I think the correct play is... Actually, let's think about this. So, this can attack into all of his things. You know, honestly, this is completely fine. Just Hulk Smash. My boys are bigger than your boys. Show me what you got. Put him under pressure. Or actually, I don't want to throw away the Lull Mage's Familiar. Yeah, I would be throwing it away if I attacked because there's a 4/3 in play. If he double blocks either of these, I'm completely okay with that. Because if he's double blocking, then I am... Like, yes, I'll trade away with one of these cards, but then I'm still like getting in so much damage. As it was, he's chump blocking all this damage. Yeah, he's super dubs. This is not a board that can win against what I have. Okay, now I'll play out this Master of Winds. See if I can't find anything. Draw 2 and discard 1. I'll probably find at least something was found. Let me tell you. If we smack with all guys, he will block. They're not all lethal. This does force him into a bad spot. And then I have lethal next turn anyways. So he can eat this, but then if he tries to eat this, he has to chomp elsewhere. Honestly, just send in with the crew. Just hit him. Smork. He's a 3. We need to make sure we're killing him. If he wants to eat my Geyser Mage, I don't mind. Okay. Eating my Geyser Mage, but chumping with the Sky Dancer, trading these off, all of this is fine by me. So, Oblivion Hunger? Sure. Okay, so I'm trading Oblivion Hunger for this thing, and then, because this guy doesn't give lifelink, so I don't care. Nectopot. That's not going to do it. Unless you have a land. Okay, so I still need to draw something here to kill him. That's not going to do it, because my Master of Winds only hits for 1. Slowly but surely. Alright, play out a land. Go. Do you have a land? You do. So I'm back to needing to draw something. That is something. Good game. Because now I can turn my Master of Winds into a 4/1, and that will take care of that. Good game. We had a fairly massive advantage almost at every point in this game, so I do not feel at all concerned. Despite him mind draining us, we had a couple of things that we didn't particularly care about. Like we chucked the Royal Mage because it was going to be a while before it became relevant. What's this? Gems? Give it. Still maintain that we got really unlucky flooding out in the first game, but again, consistency is key. We still haven't had a good Vine Gecko start. Really looking forward to having a good Vine Gecko start. This might be a good Vine Gecko start. Also, as you notice, this is a completely fine combat trick. Like, when you have a wizard, it becomes silly, at least in limited, because then you're basically saying 1 mana, kill a creature, draw a card. That's just insane. Okay, well, this is not really, well, this is a vine gecko, but it's not really a vine gecko that's helping us kick stuff. But still a good gecko. He's a good boy. He'll eventually get big. But more importantly, we just draw roiling regrowth, so we can do the thing that we were doing earlier. Okay. This doesn't get cheaper, right? No, so you just get to hit us. Okay. That doesn't change things, I don't think. Does it? Surely not. No, I don't think it does. Attack. Get him. Get him, boys. Get him, lads. Oh, he's thinking if I have a trick. He doesn't mind if I do. Sure. I got nothing, Chief. I got nothing. I was now going to block your Teeter Peak ambusher with my Vine Gecko anyway, because you could just play a land and threaten to make it into a 3-3. Should be a horrible block. So if I'm not blocking, I'm attacking. Might as well see if I can't get in that sweet free damage. Attack! Smork, hit me. I'll take my 2. Oh my gosh. Aggressive. Kill that. Grab a pair of forests, and then now we have an island. Hit us. Sure. Okay, now we're feeling pretty fantastic because we can actually cast Cunning Geyser Mage because of the Vine Gecko. But before we do that, we're probably going to cast this Relic Amulet, and then like it'll basically have us take a turn off. But we're so big. He needs to have a Nahiri's Binding here is what he needs to have. Okay, well, he doesn't have it, so he's only going to get to attack us for 1. Offense or defense? What do you reckon? I reckon if I attack with this, he blocks with both. I don't get to take them both out with the Chilling Trap. I just get to take out a Lagok. So, play out the Relic Amulet, because we're not Geyser Maging this turn, because we want the value of the amulet. Attack with the Ascetic. So now, this way, even if I don't get to draw the card of the Chilling Trap, at least I can still ensure that I get a Relic Amulet counter off of it, which would be pretty good. He's not even going to risk it. Smart man. Cool. And now we can... like, we don't have to do anything. We're under no real threat. I was gonna say, like, what we can do in a pinch, like if he tries to do anything fancy with the Kitesail Cleric, is we can Chilling Trap one of his other critters, and then we can like shoot the cleric. But I don't think that should be necessary. Although it saves a lot of life, that doesn't do anything. And now this does make me want to hold this even more, so I can potentially kill a bigger thing. Okay. Pass to attackers. Hit me. I'm not really blocking with this Vine Gecko. My creatures are too valuable. How much do you want me to take? It saves so much life, and I get to kill a thing. This is so much value. And I will simp for value, no joke. Will simp for value is literally my life motto. Because this whole play gets so much better next turn when I can Cunning Geyser Mage back his biggest thing. Oh, is he considering pumping this? You mad lad. You absolute maniac. He's thinking about it. So aggressive. Like, that 2 extra damage. This stage, like, it's good, but Skyclave Sentinel. Okay, well, this makes my life super easy because now what I can do. So I'll pass turn, right? And now, I mean, Stumper's fine. It's whatever. We will kicker this, right? And then we have Chilling Trap that we can still cast. So now Geyser Mage can throw up this Expedition Healer, so he doesn't gain life. He doesn't have a blocker. And now we can smack with both of these guys. Haha. And he doesn't have good blocks. The Sentinel doesn't have +1/+1 counters. And does he really want to take 8? Yeah, I don't think so. So that just ends up being a chump block. That's fantastic for us. And now we have a Chilling Trap to trade our Geyser Mage Well, we don't even have to trade our Geyser Mage off because the Chilling Trap is what I was trying to say. So we can just take the hit from the Lagak and the Kai'Sil Cleric. We'll block the Teeter Pick Ambusher if he attacks with everything, right? And if, once we're done blocking the Teeter Pick Ambusher, he has to pump to get this to trade. And then once he hits the Prowling Pillager, it's not going to do it. Do you have a land? He must have a land. Oh, he doesn't even have a land. Okay, well, now he's just completely screwed because he can't really attack. He can attack for 1, and then he can attack with this thing as well. But then if he attacks with this thing, do I want to fire off the Chilling Trap? I don't think I do. Okay, we're just going to take it. He got scared. My turn. So, it's a good amount of lands we got. I'm gonna hit him for 5. See what he has to say about that. If he double blocks, he gets blown the crap out by Chilling Trap. Oh no, he's doing it. Okay, so my thing deals 5 damage, right? So put this guy first, and then Chilling Trap this thing, draw a card, second Vine Gecko, and now he will deal 2 here, and then I can either shoot the healer or I can shoot the ambusher. I honestly think I care more about shooting the healer than I do about shooting the ambusher. So I'll just play out this Vine Gecko. Although this guy does get pretty big, I can always just trade him for a Geyser Mage. So I will actually, I think, just shoot off the healer. Life gain is what I really want to avoid. Cool. And if he wants to send in with his 3/4 Felidar, if he has a land plus Trig, I suppose that's unfortunate, but I will happily double block with both my geckos. Second Teeter Pick Ambusher. That's a very relevant card on this, wait, at least like for this turn. Eventually it might become relevant, but right now not as much. Good boy, Relic Amulet. Also, as you can see, like Relic Amulet's threat, a lot of it comes not from just like what you actually cast, like from actually using the trigger, as much as it comes from the threat of using it to kill a thing, right? The threat of using it in combat. That just makes life so difficult. Oh my god. We're gonna do that. That sounds fun. Because now I also get to shoot off that annoying thing. Also, without a land for the Prowling Felidar, it is just 4, 1, 2, 3. Discard a card, eh? Nobody likes your land. Go away. And so now, what we can do is send in with all of these, and then he doesn't really have any profitable blocks without using a trick, and then there's a bunch of tricks that will still get messed up at least a little by the Risen Amulet, and I still have an 0-5 on defense, so I'm feeling very good about my spot right now. Opponent's gonna need to pull something crazy to come out of this one. Not that there's... Is there anything crazy to pull? Is there a Wrath? A white Wrath in Zendikar? I don't remember. I don't think there was. A red Wrath in Zendikar? I don't remember. I don't think there was. If it is, it is. But I still have a Kazandu Stomper in case of... Oh my gosh. That's bold. You want to trade off this Gecko with your guy? Sure. Fine by me, champ. Fine by me. We will trade off 2 drops. And if that pleases your heart, I will then play this 0-5. I don't care about shooting your 1-1. Because I have a 1-4. And if you want to spend a massive combat trick, like a +3/+1 first strike or some such, I guess the only thing that can get you out of it. Okay, well, 3-4 is not bad, but it's still not getting through the 0-5. And how are you defending? Can he deal me direct damage 8? Because he can't get a single point of damage in, as the board currently stands. I have blockers for everything. Although to have blockers for everything, I would need to make inefficient blocks that need to like put a vine gecko in front of this guy, and then it's like, okay, well, that is his only hope. Smork. And then if he has like pumped the whole team, that still kills this. I mean, this obviously needs to be blocked. It's like, do I want to throw away my vine gecko for it though? And I'll just do this, and this way, like, if he has something that pumps up the whole board, my vine gecko would die anyway to the Teeterpuk ambusher getting pumped. So, like, essentially I've traded a vine gecko for a kite sail cleric, which is okay, because the gecko isn't really getting big, because I didn't draw the kicker half of my deck. Oh my gosh. That was close. Yeah, the Royal Eruption deals 5, doesn't deal 8. Whew, not laying a single point of damage was crucial, huh? I mean, I suppose we could have taken a single point of damage, but that got very close. Royal Eruption is a card that definitely should be on my radar more. I have lost more games in this format to that card than I would care to admit. Now this is a very decent vine gecko start, assuming I can draw my third land. If I can't, then I'm sad, but if I draw an island, we are in business. Akum Hellhound? Cheat. Well, it's looking like at this stage we will have to spend turn 3, roiling, regrowthing. I'm so happy we're on the play against this Akum Hellhound. Being on the draw would feel so bad. Sure, no blocks. If I naturally draw island, okay, I didn't. It's fairly sad that I have to cast this regrowth before I cast my Relic Amulet, but Relic Amulet is going to be just fine anyways. I still have a wizard lined up for it. He has 2 1/1s, 2 0/1s, I suppose I should say. Fine by me, champ. I don't got blockers, Chief. You can do whatever you like to me. You don't have a turn 3 play. What could you flash in on turn 3? I don't think there's that much, surely. Okay, we do draw this land. So now what? So I think let's go Risen Riptide, Relic Amulet, and attack for 2 with our Vine Gecko. And this way, next turn, we can cast Knowledge Colony. Oh my god, that is disgusting. If we draw land, okay, well, goodbye, opponent. I mean, Vine Gecko, you're cool and I love you. But have you heard the good word of Relic Amulet? Because now I can do this, and then before he declares blockers, I just shoot this off. His entire board is just going to die to this Relic Amulet. There are games where Relic Amulet does work. This is why I'm sad that I couldn't, in good conscience, have played the Amulet before the Roiling Regrowth, because that would have made it woof so hard for the opponent. Disgusting! Because now, because the Vine Gecko, right, I can do this. Yes. Kicker. Yes. And then you can't really block any of these creatures profitably, can you? You can, yeah, well, you can chump there, and then you could trade your Prowling Felidar for my Joraga Visionary, but I'm guessing that's not something you want to do. So at this stage, we have the choice of playing out a Blightblade. I I think we will. I don't think I mind the 1 damage from the Kitesail as much. Because now, next turn, I can go Gnarled Colony, turn this into 5/5 again, turn the Gecko into 4/4. Well, that's not going to do it. Do you have a land? Okay, well, that's good. The Blight Blade completely stops your offense. Okay, well. Now what do we do? I mean, Colony ain't bad. So we'll Colony. Get back counter. Shoot off the Cleric. Yep. And now if we Smork. Opponent's had enough. That game was not close. Opponent tried to play red and white lands and like little aggressive critters, but then I just accelerated my mana and played things that were too big. Thank you, Vine Gecko. I love you, Vine Gecko. And we have a hand with a Relic Amulet in it. Can't lose. On the play, Relic Amulet. 3 wizards in hand, mind you. 2 of them are even good. I laugh, not because I'm funny, but because I have a bad wizard in my deck. It's okay. And my opponent has now turn 1 play. Even better. Now, can we top deck a good turn 3 play? Opponent, are you on the Jewelry Life? Also, this is cast, right? So, yeah, I don't care. Opponent, if you're on the Jewelry Life, this has to feel so bad. He's on the Jewelry Life, and he can't even Jewelry this, and I still get the trigger on the Relic Amulet. That has to feel bad for him. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. I have a 2/1 on turn 3. What do you got? A worse 2/1 and no land because you are, sir, are an amygdala. Oh wait, I can shoot this. Ugh. Fine, I'll shoot you. Because otherwise I'll like be wasting value, because I'll like have more counters than I need to kill that thing, and that might decrease the counters I have later on to kill the things that I want to kill. And you know how I like my value? Completely messes up my curve. It might legitimately have been correct there to just play this Master of Winds anyway and then just like kill Tazim Raptor later on. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. We'll go Master of Winds. Probably chucking the Riptide is my guess, because then we can attack in the air for a bunch. This also stops the Raptor's offense. Discard a card. Do we want to get greedy and discard a land, actually? I mean, because then we can't go Visionary into Amulet. But I think it's fine, because we'll still have Knowledge Colony to play. And now I think we will attack with both, because if he wants to trade his Tazim Raptor for either of these, I am overly joyed about that. What do you got, Chief? Death Touch. You want it? Come on, look at him. So handsome. He's got a knife and like plants and stuff. The bird does want the handsome man with the knife. Got him. I just traded my 1-drop for his 3-drop, and my 1-drop was a 1/1. His 3-drop was a no, I did. Oh well, that solves my problems for me. I will still go Joraga Visionary though, because it still plays on Joy Disruption. If he has another counterspell that is not a Joy Disruption, then that does make me sad. But if it is a Joy Disruption, then he's sad. Okay, it's Anti-Cognition. Should have gone with the Windrider Wizard, but it's alright. We will take this action for one. Anti-Cognition is not really a card that's on my radar as much, because it's not normally a card that people play. It's okay in rogues, because if you can mill people, then this is 2 mana counterspell scry 2, and that's insane. But otherwise, it's like, it's whatever. Okay, well, we'll play out this Windrider Wizard. Get more counters in this amulet. Play out this Master of Winds. Make it bigger. If he has an intervention for the Master of Winds, I'm okay with that, because it still gives me flyers in play. It still gives me a flyer in play, and I still have this 2 damage coming in, and so next turn I have 4 damage guaranteed because of this Relic Amulet, right? Into the... That's not what you want to see. It's giving me back my Master of Winds, so I get to draw more cards. OP, no. At this stage, is it even correct to just run out this Knowledge Colony? I don't think so, because it doesn't actually kill him next turn. And whatever he plays, I can probably kill with the Relic Amulet. Yeah, see, like, now, I can just kill this with the Relic Amulet, so I'm still being efficient about my mana, and I couldn't have killed him even if I had the Gnarled Colony next turn. So this is fine by me. So we will go ahead, hit him for a gazillion, and then Master of Winds, or should we Gnarled? I think let's Master of Winds, hope to draw land. Oh, I can also get to draw a card, discard a card. I'll discard this Risen Riptide. It's not doing terribly much. Yeah, it's just an 0-5 at this stage. Admittedly, it's an 0-5 that'll do a lot. Discard another card. Actually, now this does change my plans, huh? Might legitimately be discarding Kazandu Stomper. Don't need him. Vine Gecko, all of these guys. Okay, so we'll discard the Stomper. Unlikely to be casting that. We'll play out the Vine Gecko. There should be no combination of cards. I overthought that decision way too much. None of this matters. He's just dead. Time Wipe isn't here. Doomscar isn't here either. Time Wipe is Dominaria, and Doomscar was Kaldheim. I don't think Zendikar gave us anything other than Shadow's Verdict. He's not in Shadow's Verdict colors, so. Even if he has Shadow's Verdict, we still have a Master of Winds. I think this is completely fine. Vanquish the Horde is in his trade. Yep. No combination of spells will save you here. Goodbye, opponent. Consistency is good, because our deck doesn't lose to itself. We're just rampaging through the opponents. Also, it's like very low rank, so there's also that. It's a format I'm actually somewhat familiar with and have somewhat of an understanding of, unlike Neon Dynasty, where I've done, what, 2 drafts in Arena, and then like 3 or 4 simulated drafts online, and I've just seen people draft, and that's that. It's alright. Alright, what do we got? We are on the play again, which is a very nice change. We're on the play a lot, and whenever we're on the play, we have a Roiling Regrowth, which is great. I'm a little sad that we don't have anything to do before turn 3, but then once that turn 3 rolls around, we should hopefully be able to accelerate into our quite powerful late game. But, you know, right now we don't have, like, we actually, even after casting the regrowth, we don't have anything to do on turn 5. But this hand gets good very easily. Okay, well, this might change our plans, huh? Because now we might actually go Wind Rider Wizard on turn 3 instead of Roiling Regrowth. Yeah, also a little late to the party there, my fam. Okay, so we will go Wind Rider Wizard, because now what we can do is next turn we can Roiling Regrowth and then guarantee the Kazandu Stomper if we have a land in hand. These rogues. Oh, rogues, how I used to hate you because of Drown in the Loch. Interesting. So, gonna do that. Not gonna cast Field Research. If he wants to trade wizards, it's fine by me. Okay, he does want to trade wizards. Again, fine by me. We will Roiling Regrowth. Draw a card. If we draw a land, we'll discard. Oh! Discard that guy. I don't think he's going to be hyper relevant anymore. Like, he could trade with a thing, right? He absolutely could trade with a thing. So we've got what? Forgive me. Forest Island. So we'll get a Forest on the island, and then Vine Gecko, and then because now next turn we can just go Kazandu Stomper. It's like, yes, I could have played the Blight Blade here. It's just I don't want to give up any of these cards. These cards are great, and I don't want to risk. Ew! You disgusting human being. Now I have a 6/5. You have a Deadly Alliance. Now I'm dead. Because you have a Roost of Drakes. Oh, you don't have a Deadly Alliance. So you're saying there's a chance. We need to draw back-to-back Geyser Mages to have a chance at this game now. Because if he has a Bubble Snare... No, he doesn't have a Bubble Snare. He would have used it before combat, surely. If he has any kicker spell, I can't think of what other kicker spells he would have that he wouldn't have cast. Pelaka Predation. Okay, he's going to go grab my Field Research. That's sad. It's okay, though. I don't terribly mind it. But it does mean I need to draw a kicker spell. Preferably... Oh, that's great! Oh, that is intensely good. Because now I can go Relic Amulet. Wait, do I want to cast the 1/1? I don't think I care terribly much about the 1/1. I care about Wind Rider Wizard or Field Research. I think I care more about the Wind Rider Wizard, not sure. Okay. Anyways, so attack for 6. He shouldn't be able to kill this thing, no matter what trick he has. So all the chip damage he's been doing. Oh, does he have a way to get this thing Death Touch? Spell Shield? Surely Zulapur Duelist? But that doesn't do anything. Oh, that does do something! Because, oh, that rogue Death Touch. Okay, it's fine. It's still a trade and we still deal damage. Sad. Now I really like this Relic Amulet. I really don't like the Blight Blade. Are we just getting back a Stomper? So what's our play next turn? So now, I mean, we're definitely casting this. Yes, we're definitely casting this. Get back the Life Gain card or the big dude, the big dumb idiot. I mean, if we draw a land next turn, we are good to Vine Gecko into Field Research. Should we risk that for the biscuit? If we don't, we want to have access to Kazandu Stomper. Is the Stomper going to be good enough to win us this game? I think so. Like, he's a big boy. A really big boy. And if I draw something nice and cheap, then Sword and Thought Thief. Okay, sure. Ugh. Okay, Vine Gecko, Relic Amulet. Those are both fine. So hear me out. I'm gonna go for the Vine Gecko. This is a little slow, but I'm gonna go for the Vine Gecko. I'm gonna Relic Amulet away the Duelist. And then next turn, I get to Cunning Geyser Mage the 2/2, and it dies, turning my guy into a big guy. Okay, attack in the air. Yeah. Do your thing. Stupid, sexy rogues. Just good, efficient, on-curve cards that do the stupid... Sorry. Always a little salty about that one. We will, of course, attempt to use the kicker. Trigger. No counter magic. Chief, what? Alright. I'm still losing this race. Maybe I should have got back the life gain. But if we find any interaction, we are still in decent shape here. That's one of the cards that could have blocked it. Uh-oh. And our Windrider Wizard is gone. I think that's all of our life gain, fellers. Oh, boo. Oh, you whore. But wait. No, boo, you... Oh, but wait. So, what I can do, I can Geyser Mage the Sentinel, right? Geyser Mage the Sentinel. Yeah, get that out of there. And then tap that thing. And then hit this. Definitely should have gotten back the life gain. Oh my gosh. Aggressive attack. If I have a way to interact with your Skyclave Sentinel again. Yeah, he just wants to guarantee the attack. Okay, now he's gonna go for it. No, my and the what do you mean? What do you mean, the Into the Royal and the Royal Mage? You're trolling. That's excellent. I need to cast this on the Skyclave Sentinel so that my guy doesn't die. Okay. We'll have to draw a card off of this. See what happens. No, that's not good enough. Wow, if we got back the Tarn Timber Cleric, we were in shape there. Holy, I should have realized this would have come down to a race and we should have gotten back the life gain card. I did not plan this out properly. We could have won that game. So we get back the Cleric there. So let's say I all-in attack. He tries to eat a creature. He doesn't get to eat because I have access to... He doesn't get to eat because I have access to the Chilling Trap. So the Skyclave Sentinel doesn't get to eat a thing. One of my creatures trades with a 2/2, but then I deal 7 damage and then I don't die. Because the Cleric gains 3. But that's not good enough still, right? Because was it 5 and he would have dealt me 6 in the air? Then again, maybe not. Also, it has to be admitted, he got very lucky there. Like, if I get the Into the Royal there to get, like, counter on the Gecko, on the Relic Amulet, it would have been really good. Okay, well, he's on the play. I'm on the draw, but I have a Blight Blade turn 1, into an Owlet Colony turn 2 if I see things going sour. It looks like opponent has a Zulaport Cutthroat, a Zulaport Duelist, I suppose I should say. Not the Cutthroat. The Cutthroat was way back when. Oath of the Gatewatch, was it? Because he kept having priority. He's just not want to run out his creature. Alright, I'll respect it. If you're not going to do anything, I'm not going to do anything. Although, I'm not going to attack though, because that's just playing into his 1/1 dreams. I'm not going to do that. If you're not going to do anything, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to hold my Knowledge Colony so that it can get me more value off of the long mages. What are you doing with your life? Do I care more about the familiar or the Wind Rider Wizard? I think in the long run, I care more about the familiar and about the wizard. So if he wants to counter the familiar, he can. If he doesn't counter the familiar, like, okay. And the reason I make this play is because let's say I play the Wind Rider Wizard and he counters that. The next turn I get to play the familiar, and then I get to play a turn 5 Gnarled Colony anyway, which I would have been able to do anyway. So I don't really have a mana advantage. But this way, now I get to play Glacial Grasp. Sure, fine by me, Chief. But now this way, well, I guess he had the Glacial Grasp, so it doesn't. But this way, I at least gave myself a chance to have a Gnarled Colony kicked next turn. Are you still going to do nothing? No, you're going to play Taunting Arbor Mage. Okay. 2/3. I accept. He's still holding up that blue. I'm telling you, I'm suspicious of that blue mana. Now we actually have like things to do with our mana for days. Honestly, I'm still okay with this. I'm still okay with this game going very slowly. I believe we can outgrind him with our Relic Amulet engines. All of our, like, a lot of our cards right now in our hand trigger Relic Amulet. We have 3 potential triggers on the amulet. So if he wants a 2, oh, he's gonna attack, isn't he? Then he's gonna threaten the stupid 1/1 decreasing my power. Arr. Fine, no blocks. Ugh, you're so annoying. Take my 2. I know, this is mana inefficient. Sorry. He's not gonna play anything? What are you doing, Stanley? Alright, well, if you want to counter this, counter this. I don't care. I get my life gain trigger and my Relic Amulet trigger. And if you counter this, it's still a 1/1. If you don't counter this, then you are behind on board again. Oh, this isn't the best target to throw back, but given that he has no board state at all, I don't mind this. Come on, show it to me. What do you got? Joy Disruption? Anti-Cognition? Nothing. Just gonna let me bounce this? Okay. Still not gonna attack with my Bloodblade. It's possible I've lost 4 damage this game just because opponent's representing a card he doesn't have. But based on the fact that Arena stopped him on his main phase, I think, on turn 1, on the play, I think he's got it. Living Tempest Flashlight, sure. That looks like fodder for my Relic Amulet. Teehee. Okay. He's got a lot of 3 toughness critters, but thankfully I've got a good draw with the Relic Amulet. A good draw to go with the Relic Amulet, so I can make good use of the passive. Sure. I'll take my 3. And then our Long Mage's Familiar can get me back up to a healthy life total. That's good. Wow, that is an insane draw, and I don't particularly need to loot on my current hand. So, smack, smack. I will not forever live in fear. I will forever live in fear. Okay, because now there's only 1 target for him, right? So, what's he gonna do? He's going to decrease this guy's power. In response, what I can do and what I'm going to do is I'm going to into the royal. Actually, yes, I am going to into the royal this thing. Because now he doesn't have good blocks. He's just got to take his 1. And I'm not going to play anything again, because even though I could, I'm going to choose not to. If he does attack with his 1/1, I will block it with my Wild Mage's Familiar. I'm not afraid, because I have a Chilling Trap in hand. All creatures able to block target creature this turn do so. Who are you gonna... Okay, you want everybody to block that guy. Fine by me, Chief. Pass your tigers. Pass your blockers. Block there. You gonna do something to me? I'll Chilling Trap your guy. Yep. Don't lose my guy. 1 mana kill your thing, and then now my Relic Amulet gets to hit your flyer. And then I'm going to play out this Vine Gecko? Or am I not? I have 4 mana. I think Vine Gecko is still... But I can't really play a kicked spell off of the Vine Gecko, so let's play out the Wind Rider Wizard. And the reason I did this on my main phase, instead of doing it later down the line, is simply so that I don't mind trading either of these for that single attack. He's not. I know he's not representing another duelist because he would have cast it earlier, I think. And Arena passed turn real quick that time around, so I think it no longer has one of those. The reason I'm doing this is because now, like, I've been relatively mana efficient, right? Now I have a Vine Gecko. So, oh, maybe I could have just gotten in 2 free damage with the Wall Mage's Familiar. Maybe I messed that up. Maybe I was supposed to attack with the Familiar as well. I honestly don't know why I didn't. It's okay. That was just a punt, but it's just 2 damage. In the grand scheme of things, for this particular game, that shouldn't matter too much. Where are you pointing at my things? You got an Into the World? Okay. That's still not that bad. If he had kicked it, you know what? Eesh, that would have been rough. I could have dealt with it, given how stupid my hand is. It's still been annoying, though. Okay, well... Let's see, now we can go this thing. Oh, are you considering countering this? Okay. So now I can attack with my Blood Blade, and in case he has one of those stupid thingies again, I can shoot them with the amulet. Pardon me. I don't think he does, though. He's not been holding priority anymore. So we're going to play out our first Vine Gecko, and the next turn we're going to play out our second Vine Gecko, and then we'll get to play a big Gnarlid Colony for fun. Deliberate. That's not going to do just about anything. Two top? What do you have that'll get you out of this? So if you had 1 more mana for that Inscription of Insight, woof. So that would have been so perfect. Didn't we deal with one of these? It's another one? Okay, there's another one. Sure. Okay. Land. Fantastic. Okay. Does that change our play? I think it might, because now we can go... So how much mana do we have? 1, 2, 3... So 6 here, 7. So if we go Vine Gecko, then our Royal Mage costs not that much mana, to be honest. Okay, so we'll go Vine Gecko. Okay. And then we'll play out our Royal Mage for 4 mana. Yeah. Play out our Royal Mage 4. Get all of these counters in there. And then, so we'll get back into the Royal. We don't have to get back this Chilling Trap. No reason to risk my geckos in combat. Because next turn I can set up a turn so devastating, it'll be essentially game ending anyway. Like, Spells of Adventure is fine and all, but it's a one-time gain life draw card. I've got a massive engine going on here. I just didn't want to run into a combat trick that could kill my gecko. Although I probably might have wanted to offer the cleric. What is this? Cleric of Chill. That's blocks a creature. The creature is an untapped. Sure. Stormwalk Pathway is not going to. Okay, so you're just on the party deck, but you're pretty far behind, and you used one of your best cards to just like bounce two things and get practically no value out of it, right? Okay, well, this is not going to go well for him. His Vastwood Surge is also not going to do anything for him now. Okay, well, he's so dead. I don't even know where to begin. So, first, let's into the Royal with Kicker. The Taunting Arbor Mage. Draws us a card. One of them is a land. Fantastic. Use the Relic Amulet to shoot off that guy. And then Hulk Smash, with the exception of the Familiar. And then Wind Rider Wizard. Because now this way, next turn, we get to potentially double Kicker spell again and get him with the Geckos. Although, we could have like gotten, what, 1 more damage if we played another Kick spell this turn? But it's okay. Oh my god! There is a Wrath in the format! I was so far ahead, still not going to matter. But for the record, there is a Wrath in the format. Oh my god! I'm dying. Send help. Can I have my 1/1 Death Touch back? How are we winning this game? Because now he gets to play out the Arbor Mage. Shit. I thought we could like get him with a Master of Wind's Kick, but now he just gets to remove 2 creatures. Oh, this is awful. Oh, this feels horrific. Oh no. We just lost to somebody who went onto Inversion and to kick Crackblade Baloth. That's not gonna cut it. We're dead. We're just dead. We're dead, Mary. Not gonna stop me from trying, goddammit. Look at that. Some more power. Risen Riptide. The calling doesn't. 4/4. Now he can't attack with the Cleric. I can kill it with the Knowledge Colony. Block with the Riptide. Jesus. Well, I am a little upset about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a good bit upset about that one. They had us in the first half. Not gonna lie. I don't think that's good enough anymore. Just gonna have to cast this. Hope we draw some goodies. I don't even know what we can draw in our deck. Those are goodies though. Wait a sec. So you're saying there's a chance? Because now I can attack, offering up the trade, or I can just hold this back. Because if I offer up the trade, then they will end up trading, and I don't want that necessarily. But this Bane Veil can keep me alive for a turn without having to sacrifice a creature. And then I get to Walloped Recovery back the Death Touch. Walloped Recovering back the Death Touch sounds very good. So this turn, what do? We do nothing, we just pass. No attacks. Just gonna make him think that all I can do is chump. Hopefully he just like right click attacks all. Because it is maximizing damage. Like from his current perspective, it is correct. Double Vastwood Surge, all the Taunting Arbor Mages, and 1 Crackplate Belf. Never mind, opponent. Your deck is sweet. If I had known you had that kind of power in your deck, I would not have dissed it the way I did earlier. Alright. But now I'm just dead, right? Because Bane Veil no longer protects me against the Bailiff. Good game. Wow. That was not fun. But it is a pleasure to be crushed by a master like that. Wow, 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 wow. Just a bunch of inefficient tempo cards with the sole intention of keeping him alive until he can Vastwood Surge into Undo Inversion into kick Crackplate Bailiff.